Who will be the #1 fantasy wide receiver for the 2019 season? Is it Davante Adams, who catches balls from Aaron Rodgers, or is it DeAndre Hopkins, who catches balls with his balls? What is going on, everybody? Jake, Fantasy Headliners. Hopefully everybody's doing well out there. Hopefully I kind of caught you off guard there during the opening. Trying to have some more fun. We're not one of those boring fantasy football channels. Like to have a lot of fun over here. So if you're new here, please consider hitting that subscribe button and the like button. We really appreciate it. Today, we're talking about who is the #1 fantasy wide receiver in 2019. Who was the best in 2018? We already know, finishing on top of those rankings, Davante Adams, depending on the scoring of your league. But what are we going to do at 2019? Which one of these guys will be the first off the board? Which one are we targeting? Do we want either of them? These are all questions we're asking right now, and it's a very interactive channel. Make sure you put your comments, your opinions down below in the comment section. I'll make sure I get back to each and every one of you guys. It's a lot of fun we're going to have here. We're being very interactive. So before we waste any more time, let's talk these two wide receivers. Let's start off with Davante Adams of the Green Bay Packers. Now, on the surface, we can say that he has the better quarterback, right? He's got Aaron Rodgers. But not really going to take anything away from Deshaun Watson. I think a lot of the problems with Deshaun Watson the past couple of years, the few that there are, is really offensive line and lack of a run game, based. Not so much his problems. If he had that improved offensive line, if he had a solid run game to keep the defense honest, I don't think we've seen the true ceiling of a Deshaun Watson yet. Also, Davante Adams plays in Green Bay, right? Outdoors in Lambeau in the winter months. You never know what's going to happen from a year-to-year basis. What kind of weather is he going to have to deal with? Now, he had 5 100-yard games in 2018. 4 of them were on the road. And I'm not trying to play it off that his home and road splits are horrible and he's only good on the road because he's not. He had a great overall season. It's just one other factor. And there's been a lot of rumors floating around lately that there could be another big-name playmaker coming to the Green Bay offense this year. Does Antonio Brown go there? Do they sign maybe Michael Crabtree, who's really not big time, but he's still another red zone threat that could take away touchdown looks from Davante Adams? It's just something we need to pay attention to. As of right now, his ADP is 8th overall. Technically, he's right behind our next wide receiver we're talking about, which is DeAndre Hopkins of the Houston Texans. Now, he gets to play the majority of his games indoors, right? That's a plus for him. We've talked about Deshaun Watson, and I strongly believe, if you haven't checked out our mock draft videos prior to this, we really expect offensive line to be addressed in the Houston organization this year. They have to. They have to protect these guys better. Houston is also one of the final destination, that sounds bad, but you know what I'm talking about. It's one of the final possible destinations for Le'Veon Bell, and if that happens, does it take away from DeAndre Hopkins? Maybe a little bit. Maybe the target share goes down a little bit because they feed Le'Veon Bell more. However, the target share inside that Houston offense is really still solely going to be DeAndre Hopkins. Yes, Will Fuller could be back. Kiki, do you love me? Will probably be involved somewhat, but it's definitely something where DeAndre Hopkins is still going to be the lead guy. If they can improve those offensive lines and those running games, I think it only helps DeAndre Hopkins be more efficient, possibly do the same amount of numbers with less volume. It's definitely a possibility in that offense. Now, I've went through the last 3 years, and I've kind of taken an average, which kind of doesn't paint the greatest picture because a part of this average is DeAndre Hopkins playing with Brock Osweiler and Tom Savage. Yeah, not too many people could put up huge numbers, but let's take a look at these over the past 3 seasons. Davante Adams averages per year 136 targets, 1,089 yards, 12 touchdowns, and a catch rate just under 64%. Solid overall numbers. Now, let's go down to Hopkins. With the seasons in there with Savage and Osweiler, averaging 162 targets per year, which gives him on average 30 more than Adams. 1,300 yards, almost 200 yards more, a little over 200 yards more than Davante Adams, 9 touchdowns. So here's a little bit of the difference. Less touchdowns than Davante Adams, but we kind of addressed that. If Green Bay makes a move in the offseason for a red zone threat, it's really going to start to hurt the value of Davante Adams slightly. DeAndre Hopkins' catch rate. Now, last year, I know it was a huge stat that he didn't drop a pass all year. The guy was absolutely crazy, like 71% on his catch rate. For the last 3 years, 59%. But we got to remember, a lot of that has to do with the inaccuracy of the quarterbacks that he has. Now, these are both solid options. If I had to make a choice today, as of right this second, I'm taking Davante Adams. However, I do expect another playmaker to be added to that team at some point here in the offseason. If that happens, I will then pivot to DeAndre Hopkins. He's going to see volume. His touchdown production may not be as high as Davante Adams, but he is somebody who's going to see sheer volume. If you're in a PPR league, he has that added value. He's got the yardage upside. Definitely somebody that I would be happy with. I'd be happy with either one of these guys. Let's be realistic. I'm just more concerned with Davante Adams losing some of these red zone targets. So that's something we need to pay attention to here in the offseason. Both are solid options. Like I said, as of today, right now, the way the rosters are, I'm going Davante Adams. If anything changes there in Green Bay, they add more, then I'm going DeAndre Hopkins. It's a win-win either way, but I'm curious, what do you guys think? Who do you see as the better weapon here between Davante Adams and DeAndre Hopkins? I'm looking forward to hearing your opinions down below. Make sure you guys continue to support this channel. It's greatly appreciated. Really look forward to talking to you guys. It's a fun topic to talk about. We have some time before the draft, so let's talk, who the best of the best should be. Really appreciate you guys' support out there. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll talk to you later.